Now, last year around this time, the South African National Blood Services stocks were critically low. It's a non-profit organisation that supplies human blood for much-needed transfusions. Now, this evening, we'll find out about the current blood stock levels and the service's plans ahead of what's always a busy festive season. We're joined virtually from here in Johannesburg by Dr. Karin van Berg. She's the Medical Director at the SANBS. Karin, thank you so much for your time this evening. Over the last couple of years, the conversations with you and your colleagues have been rather difficult because you had to make a plea for people to continue to come out to donate blood, because as we were living in the midst of a pandemic, there were various reasons for people not coming out in their numbers, or your regulars not even arriving anymore, because there was so much fearfulness around the COVID-19 pandemic. How much has changed over the last year as life has loosened up a little bit? Have we seen a return of your regulars, or are you still having to do a bit of messaging around your processes and how safe it is going forward?
So I think what has been great is that the need for messaging around COVID has changed quite a bit. So people are no longer fearful to come and donate. However, the problem that we're encountering now is that, our lifestyles have changed after COVID. So people are often working from home. People are doing a lot more online shopping. And so our traditional methods of collecting blood has changed, and I think forever. So where we would normally go to a big employer group and we would be able to collect maybe 50, 60 units of blood there. There are now maybe 10, 20% of the workforce there, which means that we are collecting 10, 20% of the blood that we used to. So we've had to be very creative over the last couple of months in how we go about collecting blood. But I can tell you, we've actually restored most of our the donors that we lost during COVID. And we've actually, over the last couple of months, collected more blood than we have ever done before. So we're very grateful for our donors, but we are going into difficult times again.
That certainly is very encouraging news. What are some of the alternative plans or ideas that you've come up with to try and make up what's now been lost to our change of life and our change of work life?
So we've had to adapt, and one of the things that we did, we had a very successful campaign called the Good Hood campaign, where people could organize blood drives for their local little communities. So in living estates, for your neighborhood, literally. And we are busy developing new vehicles where we can, self-contained vehicles that we can go and park in a particular neighborhood and collect 10, 20 units over a couple of hours and then move on. So we've really had to adapt. We've been very grateful that we are able to go back to our schools and universities. And also, people are eager to be giving back to their communities at this stage.
Now, you and your colleagues must head towards the festive season with the kind of anxiety that most of us don't have, because we just think of fun and family times and that kind of thing. But we do know, because the festive season is usually quite awful on our roads in terms of accidents and people ending up in hospital, it does put a lot of pressure on stocks such as yours. Tell us where we stand right now in terms of our blood stocks, even though you had some encouraging news about your levels being up, and what you're expecting to happen as we edge towards our very hectic festive season.
So, the good news is that we've been able to collect a lot of blood, but unfortunately, we've also had record demand on our blood. So even though we've been collecting more than we've ever done before, we've also been issuing more blood. So at the moment, we are actually only at about 3.2 days stock. And as most people, I think, by this time know, we aim to have 5 days, because that means that we feel comfortable around how much blood we have. So our plans for the festive season really is to try and go to where the people are. So we know people go to the coast for holidays, they go to various holiday destinations, and our aim really is to try and get to where the people are. So we scale down on the blood drives that we would normally have at employer places, and rather go to the seaside, go to the holiday destinations. And also, the festive period is a time for giving. And so, we do offer during this time just a small little incentive, a small little thank you for people to come when they come and donate during this period of time.
Is there the hope that, in as much as you depend on your regulars, if we can call them that, is there the hope that you can expand the pool from which you take blood? And how do you go about that? Is there still, do people still have reticence around the process of taking blood, or what happens to it? Are there some beliefs that they have that perhaps hold them back from donating blood? What are some of the misconceptions that you sometimes have to deal with when speaking to somebody who is still contemplating whether they want to become a blood donor?
So the fear of the needles and fearful of seeing blood is still one of the key problems that we encounter. Misconceptions are these days mostly around things like, I have high blood pressure, so I can't donate, or I have diabetes, or I once had low blood iron, and that would mean that I can now forever not donate. So those are most of the misconceptions that we have. And those we try to deal with through education. The traditional beliefs that certain population groups have, those are not, we don't encounter them so much anymore. These days, it's more around, I've had a tattoo, so I can't donate, because in the past, we would have long deferral periods after a tattoo. But if you've had a tattoo, you can come and donate. If you have some of the chronic diseases that we encounter these days, as long as you are under control, you can come and donate. So those are some of the misconceptions that we try and deal with through education of our donors. But one of the key aspects is to have, our targets really are to have about 10 to 15% new blood donors each year. Because as you can imagine, people get older, they can't donate, they develop serious illnesses and they can't donate. So we have natural attrition of blood donors. And to compensate for that, we do try and get about, 15% of our blood must come from new donors, just to make up for A, the growing demand for blood, and B, also the fact that, things happen and there's natural attrition of our donors.
Okay, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for that insight. That's Dr. Karin van der Berg, Medical Director at the SA National Blood Service. And if you do want to get in touch with them and you would like to find out more, or even better, to donate blood, you can just find them on their various social media platforms, or just Google them and you'll be able to find their contact details there.